one of the most requested, most demanded things I've ever gotten in podcasts, in the entirety of us doing our podcast. I've never gotten more emails and just messages about one thing. And it was, will you guys talk about Star Wars? I have been inundated with, you guys didn't talk about Star Wars. Where's Star Wars? Are you going to talk about Star Wars? Is it going to talk about Star Wars? So we should talk about Star Wars.
Okay, we will talk about
Star Wars.
All right,
sure. Well, it was, to be fair, it was like 2 days after it came out when we did the Christmas cast.
Yes.
And we were busy barfing on the Christmas cast.
Yeah. We were busy. We were
so
really busy.
Now we're back, and I guess I pissed some people off too, because I think someone asked me to talk about it on the PPS, and I just kind of said, like, there's tons of forums. You go read about it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, but I guess they want to hear...
There were a lot of people... Hey,
they want to hear what we think.
Well, I was going to say real quick, I was playing over the Christmas break. I played a lot of... I've been streaming Final Fantasy VII. The old Final Fantasy VII. I've been just streaming that online with people. It's been a lot of fun. But there were a lot of people in the chat kind of like raging about like, Rocco, say what you thought of Star Wars. I can't get Garrett to talk to me. Like, he won't say if he liked it. Anyway,
I did say I liked it though, but I just But now, okay, it's been a while.
I feel like there's not that much to say, but everybody wants to say shit.
They want to hear shit apparently.
Yeah. They just want to talk about it, and it gets tiresome.
I don't like dissecting it because it had so much fucking hype around it.
Sure.
And it could have, like, I kind of had this feeling going in. All the stuff we saw with J.J. Abrams, that, like, this is going to be good. Sit back. I only watched that first trailer.
Right.
And then when I went into the theater, I kind of had just this fucking clean slate of mind that just... I just knew it had to be better than the prequels.
Yeah.
And I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And let's see what Star Wars in 2015 looks like. And I had so much fucking fun.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I did when I saw the prequels, where... When I saw the prequels, I thought they were good movies. Because I was fucking hyped out and I was like 22 or something.
Yeah.
But I did want to go back like maybe 3 days later. It was like, fuck, I'm still thinking about this movie. I want to go see it again. So I've seen it twice now.
Have you?
I think we've all seen it more than once.
I have not.
Have we all?
I've seen it twice.
I want to see it again, but I saw it.
So,
Same thing. 2-3 days later, I went back and I saw it again. Just because I wanted... I don't know if you specifically did this. I knew I was going to see it more than once, no matter what.
Yeah. I'm going to go with my parents like in a week anyway, too.
Well, once to just get it out of the way and not have to worry about, are we going to have like spoilers or anything like that. And because I was excited to see it. And the second time to actually watch the movie. And not get like...
emotional.
Oh, Star Wars. Oh, yeah. And so for me, it was good because I really enjoyed it the first time I saw it. And then the second time I saw it, I went, that's good. Let's see another one. Let's do new things with these movies. And that I think is the one takeaway that I have from this entire thing.
Yeah.
We got our movie where we went back and we talked about Han Solo, we talked about Leia,
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah.
Great. We had to get that out of the way is what I'd like to think.
Yeah.
And now we're going to move on to, hey, totally new things.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to be connected to anybody. We're done with that. This is all different.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about it. And I was just talking to Eric about it yesterday. We were here kind of setting up some of this gear, and we ended up talking about Star Wars for 20 minutes. And
to be fair, I think it was much longer than 20.
Oh, okay, 40 minutes. 75. Anyway, and that's generally kind of what we were talking about. You know, you can draw all these parallels, obviously, because there are billions of them. In this new movie, and it, you know, the plot is derivative of New Hope and this and that, and it absolutely was. Yeah, sure, but yeah, that was I really think completely what we needed to do right now. This is the first time anyone not the creator of it has ever made Star Wars, and I really think the best thing the world needed right now after everything that's happened was Star Wars greatest hits. Where it's a little bit, like this and like that and like this. If we had just plunged headfirst into some totally alien thing that wasn't really similar to anything else, I think we'd be in a very different place where you'd be like, you'd hear a lot of, I don't like what JJ's doing. What did he do to Star Wars? You know, I think right now, it wasn't perfect. And I don't, you know, I'm not going into any of these ever expecting them to be like the original 3 movies. and I don't think it's anywhere near that, nor will it be. But I think for right now, just to get everyone back on this train, just to kind of get us interested in the story again, there had to be a big connection to those. So I was perfectly fine with that. I really enjoyed it. I liked it quite a bit. But I do think the best part of it is abundantly the new characters.
Oh, yeah.
More so. You know, Han Solo was in it, and this is what I was talking about with Eric. Han Solo was in it, but he really was luggage from the last, whatever. I loved seeing him again, but I'm happy. I'm talking about shit. If you haven't seen it at this point, I'm sorry.
Spoiler filled.
But anyway, I'm happy we're moving on from that too. But I think you needed that to.
It gives weight to that character now.
It gives weight to stuff. It gives weight in terms of just it carrying on to a new thing. I think if you outright didn't have any of the old characters showing up in this, that would have been jarring. I think too much of them would have been bad too. I feel okay with what they did. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
I felt like
I really enjoyed it.
I am now but people talking about Star Wars, like I like to talk about it with like just my friends and stuff like that. Like
sure.
But like I've seen the trend of what you see for everything that's popular is like it's so popular now that I hate it. Like it was like people, I love it, it's so good, and then a couple days later, it's like, well, actually, I think the Clone Wars is better, and let me tell you why. Or actually, I think whatever, Attack of the Clones, or whatever. Yeah. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like I don't care.
That's why
it's honestly what I think with that stuff is with any movie, not just Star Wars, with any bigger thing like that. You hear the real reviews like the week it comes out, and then everything becomes a reaction to reviews.
Exactly.
It's really hard to.
And I just am so sick of people telling me what they liked better because I didn't ask you that fucking question. I don't care what you like better. Did you like the fucking movie or not? Like that's it.
Well, and so that's what I was gonna say in terms of reactions to stuff. I kind of have beef with both sides because this is what I keep seeing, and this is on both sides. I did a video on my personal channel where I kind of made fun of this.
Yeah.
I really wasn't trying to make fun of criticism of the movie because I think there are, there's legitimate criticism of the movie and that's fine. But there were so many people just throwing out like buzzwords without any thoughts behind them. I couldn't enjoy it. Finn was a Gary Stu character. So what else happened? Like they would just end there. Elaborating is one thing, but they would just say that.
They went to film school.
Yeah, just throwing out these terms they heard yesterday, and it's like, what? No, you got to tell me more. So that was kind of on the critical side. That was a little annoying, but then on the overly positive other side of it, guys, you fucking people who after this movie went online and wrote, well, I just saw it. It was better than A New Hope and definitely better than Return of the Jedi. Probably better than Empire Strikes Back. Shut the fuck up. What? You have pulled that fucking line after you were there at Attack of the Clones and you walked out and told your friends you saw the best sci-fi movie of the past 20 years. Shut the fuck up. Like, I'm so over that too. You know what I mean? So both sides, it was kind of like, oh my God, what are you saying?
But take that all away.
Yeah.
I had a great time.
Yeah.
I watched the movie. I laughed. I cried.
Yeah.
And
I cried?
No. But
I did.
But I walked out.
Did you guys not get teary on the first viewing?
I had spoiled for me, so I
didn't get.
Oh
yeah. So, but
I wasn't literally teary. It wasn't for me any one moment. It was in general. The crawl came up. And I was not crying, but I was a little jittery just because, oh man, it really is a new one. I don't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about it.
There were moments like that where I got real butterflies on the edge of my seat, like Rey and Finn jumping in the Falcon and that dogfight, and the music swelling and everything kind of got me. But what really actually let a tear roll out was that look that when Luke Skywalker turns in the very last scene. Yeah. Just the look in his eyes of like, I don't know if it's like sadness or fear or whatever, that just like overwhelmed me.
But it's also
hated that scene.
Really?
Oh, I hated
it.
I thought you had tear in his eye too.
Hated the end of this. I did not like.
No. I'm not saying. I thought he had a tear in his eye.
Oh, I did.
Oh,
until the second viewing.
Yeah. Oh, you did say that. Yeah. No, but I was sitting there in my seat crying.
Why'd you hate that, Eric?
It was just a zit.
It looked like the Highlander. Like, here's a drone shot. Nothing else looked like that the rest of the movie, and it was so wide, and it took so long, and then it was. And it was like, what the fuck just happened?
Sucks.
The whole movie is in close-up. The last shot is super wide, and then it might as well be killing in the name of, like the way the Matrix ends.
But they all end that way.
I was bummed that it ended on a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
In regards to
I
that.
was stoked they saved Luke for that last part. Like, we saw Carrie Fisher, we saw Harrison Ford. I was happy that when I was getting into the third act, I realized, like, fuck, we haven't seen Luke yet. This is on my first viewing.
it would have been
and I was
too
like,
much.
They're
to
gonna
have
show him last or maybe second movie.
I was kind of hoping that they didn't show him at all in this movie. I really was hoping that it kind of ended after where I felt it was natural, and then like when she was going off to find him, I thought that would have been a good time for cut credit rolls, because that's what a great setup to the next movie.
But-
Just rolling right into that.
I feel like this new Star Wars movie, I liked it because it was Star Wars, but it did kind of just bum me out in a general sense that movies have changed since the original Star Wars
we talked
movies
about this a
came
little
out.
bit.
100% agree.
And in a way, I know I'm gonna get flack for this. In a way, it's not really a Star Wars movie. And I only mean, like, they made 3 Star Wars movies, and they're not gonna make
That's the
those
original
movies
trilogy.
ever again.
You're right.
Yes,
'Cause
absolutely.
When they made the first Star Wars, it was a really great movie on its own that spawned 2 sequels. And this new Star Wars it's a 3-movie package from the get-go. And so this movie leaves things open where originally, back in the 70s, it would have been wrapped up for you in one movie.
They didn't know they were getting sequels.
Yeah, and it was just more of a full package. And back then, movies were more of a full package. And today, watching Star Wars, I realized, like, movies just aren't like that anymore. They're just not, and it kind of made me sad. I felt like I liked it, and it was a pretty good Star Wars movie. But if you took everything that was Star Wars about it out, if you weren't allowed, if you didn't have lightsabers or the Force, and you just wanted to make a sci-fi movie, it was just an okay sci-fi movie.
That's the power of Star Wars, is why I enjoyed it. Exactly. I completely agree with that.
The feeling of those environments felt like the original trilogy.
It's why,
closer to
honestly, and this does, whatever, this is whatever, but I will still, when I'm working, I'll put on movies and often put on Star Wars. I'll still put on the prequels, like, while I'm working on stuff. And it's not because, oh yeah, man, I love these movies. But the Star Wars universe is still the most enticing movie universe of any, you know what I mean? And so I'll still put them on because it's a Star Wars movie. I won't pay attention to. If it's a prequels, I'm probably not watching the whole time. But it has a draw that's
There's one other franchise that I watch and love that has 7 or 8 or 9, actually more movies in it, and that is Friday the 13th. And I see, honestly, I see parallels with the new Star Wars movie that I see with later Friday the 13th movies.
kill count.
No, which is like in the beginning when you have a movie series, like the sequels kind of extend on the original story. Like they keep on going, this is what happened the next day, and this is what happened the day after that. But it gets to a certain point where it's like, look, we've told that original fucking story. We're done with that story. Yeah. This is a new story.
Sure, yeah.
But in telling a new story, they still have to kind of break down, figure out the formula of the original story and hit those beats.
Yeah.
to make it feel that.
To make it feel like it's still Friday the 13th, but it's something new. And so it turns into, all right, here's a checklist. They're in the woods. They're teenagers. They'll have premarital sex. Jason will show up at this point.
Yeah.
But then to keep it fresh, they start becoming self-referential, and you start seeing, like, they make jokes about, like, what Jason does, and, shouldn't you expect Jason to get you in this way because we're so familiar with Jason?
Sure.
And I feel like just inherently, it just kind of starts wearing a little thin, and I worry that that's the path Star Wars is on now. That it's becoming self-referential. And I think in the future, 10 years from now, when you sit down and, like, I'm going to have a Star Wars marathon, you'll hit Return of the Jedi, and then you'll go to Force Awakens, and it'll just be this weird difference where it's like they're referencing stuff that you just watched. Even though now, Force Awakens, it's been 20 years since Return of the Jedi. In the future, you'll watch Return of the Jedi, then you'll pop in Force Awakens, and they'll be like making all these references to the movie you just watched.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I see that in Friday the 13th, it's a little bit cheesy.
Yeah.
And I worry, like, that's what Star Wars is kind of turning into.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, so that's what I said. I think we talked about that a little bit, and what I was saying was this was definitely a reactionary movie to what Star Wars has been over so many years. So honestly, I sympathize with how they made it and how they made this particular movie. I think the real issue is going to be what's the next one going to be?
One every year.
Because if they're pulling all that same shit in this next one, in episode 8, the shine might start coming off the apple. You know what I mean? Like,
I want to make one a year, right?
It all kind of wraps up into that, like,
episodes.
These movies aren't individual packages. They're all like chapters of a bigger package to which there is no end.
Sure.
Oh, now that Disney has it, there is no end.
No, I think it'll end. I think 8 might wrap it up.
Especially like
I liked it. I like Star Wars too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I hear you.
No, but that's
There were things
But it's just
I didn't
different.
like about the new one. Like, I could be critical of the CG.
yeah.
There was some stuff in it that, like the monsters that Han and Chewie were hauling, they seemed...
I didn't like that either.
They seemed a little prequel-y.
I feel like if you watch, honestly, if you've seen seen all of Firefly, there was a lot of like Firefly-esque vibes to Star Wars.
I'm a brown coat.
No, honestly, like the camera movement and kind of like the humor of that scene where Han Solo is confronted by 2 gangs and they let the monsters out.
How funny though, because Serenity
was released the same year as Revenge of the Sith, and people said this was the better Star Wars movie than the Star Wars movie.
But that franchise has got to be so influenced by
Star Wars. Absolutely.
Which is funny that it comes with who's directing it and directing techniques or how they shot that cinematography-wise.
I just feel like making sci-fi movies now in 2015, there's so much sci-fi that's come before. It's like, to even call it Star Wars is unfair because it's influenced by Firefly. I'm sure you could look at all the major sci-fi movies of the past 30 years, Matrix and Blade Runner and whatever, and see influences on the new Star Wars. So
Yeah. But in talking about the CG and stuff like that,
the old lady
the
with
good
the eyes.
did outweigh the bad. We were and Eric and I were talking about that too. Is they really did? I mean, there's a robot that reports to the First Order that the people they're looking for are there.
Oh yeah,
and it's like glued together microphone parts.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like, oh God,
like,
thank you.
Definitely was that too.
It was. And I was so happy to see stuff like that. Like tangible, funny things like that.
I would see a lot of beasts and stuff, and you'd see the way their neck moved, and you're like, oh, that's
and there's
like a
crumbs
puppet
on his chest.
and fabric and stuff.
Yeah. So the good outweighed the bad.
It
but
did.
What I was telling Eric, one of the things, the creatures that I didn't like was, Maz Kanata or whatever, the little CG person. That design is so ugly to me. But I got for Christmas, somebody got me the Art of Star Wars book, and it's kind of behind the scenes on the movie. And what it sounds like from that book is that character was a puppet.
Really?
At one point, they were designing a physical, real creature.
Oh wow.
Very similar to Yoda or whatever. What screwed it up was Harrison Ford injured himself
he broke his
really
hip.
bad.
Yeah.
That happened, and they went, oh my God, we already announced, I mean, we have the release date and everything, and like, we can't, what do we do? And they said, we got to just do the other stuff. Like, we got to move on. And so the next thing that they needed to do was in that restaurant, and they did not have that character. That creature was not made. It was not done. They were like, it's CG now. We got to just, we'll just have, and so I think that's what happened. It sounded like from that book.
I don't know. When it's fucking Star Wars and it's the first one, I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait till Harrison's healed.
It made no. No.
This is a franchise now.
Yeah, you're right.
What's coming out now?
Do you
next
think
one's
that
coming out next year?
Disney right now is looking, we only made $800 million domestically so far. This is a mistake.
So now we've sacrificed something in this new film. So it's...
You know what happened, though? But it was supposed to come out. A lot of people don't remember. It was supposed to come out earlier this year. It was supposed to be a May movie.
Really?
JJ already got them to delay it.
Yeah.
So it was just further he's like, I'd push things so far. And
I'm surprised he got so many of his strings pulled that he did. Like getting Disney to agree not to show 10 minutes of the movie at Disneyland.
Yeah, and all that stuff. It is interesting, though, reading that book because things like that are in it. But also, it's interesting because it was clear they didn't know what Kylo Ren would look like. So there are 300 versions of that because he's basically like, I don't know what do you do for a new villain? Like, how do you top Darth Vader? How do you do? So there's lots of debate. But what's really funny is then you turn the page and it's like, then there's characters that JJ specifically knew right away. I want this and this and this. Done. And one was BB-8. It's really funny. In the book, there is a Post-it note, and it's got a circle with a little dome on the top of it. And it's like, I want this, and this rolls around, and the head stays afloat.
Yeah,
that's it. Do it, and that was it. And it was, it's just interesting what was ready and what wasn't in terms of
JJ
from the get-go.
Was the character designer for BB.
Completely designed it himself.
Yeah, he did it all himself on that Post-it.
On a Post-it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
They scanned it, and that's what's on the
Beautiful.
screen.
Whoa.
But anyway,
I liked Kylo. I liked all the characters. I think my favorite.
I love all the new characters.
My favorite thing about Kylo Ren was his voice modulation. Whatever they did to make him sound the way he did, loud and
he sounds like how I would picture you doing weird like sex stuff.
Yeah,
when
that's
you had
how.
a thing on,
dude,
that's how it sounds.
Like, I'll get what
You know what?
I
think that they shouldn't have shown his face.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really.
I don't think they should have done
I
that.
don't like that actor
disagree
that
with
much.
that.
I think he did a good job,
I
but
think that I was talking to these guys too, and I'm not going to go into the whole conversation I had with them about it, but I feel like the first thing you see with him in the movie is freezing a blaster with his mind. I feel like too much too soon. And I kind of feel the same way about showing his face. You know, like in the original, again, Vader, you only get glimpses of him without his helmet on, and that's very like, when it's happened, like, oh shit, I didn't know his helmet could come off.
Yeah.
This one is like, want to see it?
Yeah.
I thought
like,
that was the thing, though. They're playing with our anticipation of he's gonna be fucked up under that thing, and then
Kind of
he's
reminded
like,
me of when Topher Grace was Venom, and they kept taking away the Venom mask.
Yeah,
to
it's
show
like,
me
stop taking that off.
Yeah, and it's like, just let me see Venom's face.
For me,
that's the fucking villain's face.
For me, why I was fine with that. Why I was fine with that is they aren't trying to replicate Vader again. They're not even trying. Mm-mm. This is someone who is on their way up, and you're seeing them on their way.
Idolizing.
They
Vader.
have immense power. They don't know how to contain it or use it quite yet. So I was okay with the face thing, but I see what you're saying too.
Yeah.
Just in terms of serving as a villain of Star Wars,
Well,
I definitely see
I
that.
think now at this point, don't show his face again.
Well, he's fucked up
He's
now.
fucked up now. So
and that mask and his suit and his
they can't
armaments,
show that.
They're gonna. I feel like they're gonna upgrade him into the next films.
He's going to be Super Kylo.
Well, I mean, his
He's gonna go Super
idolization
Kylo.
of Vader.
Yeah.
And now his face is fucked up. I could see him like upgrading.
He should
that
just
mask
wear
and-
Darth Vader's like fucked up mask.
just with that burnt up.
Hey, it's me.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool if you
Like a Slipknot.
He just
kind of
duct
mask.
tapes it to his head.
No leather straps like Slipknot.
Okay.
Real quick before we wrap up the stuff.
That's
Well,
scary.
everyone's so into him being this fucking emo. That's the other thing. Is like the idolization of these one character. Let's make an emo Twitter account for
Hey,
Kylo
you just gotta
Ren.
avoid all that and just pretend it doesn't exist.
That's exactly it.
Oh, I
And
do.
I did before the movie, and it was great, and it's been great since.
Yeah.
I deleted Facebook off my phone before the movie came out just to avoid spoilers.
To make a
and I have
safer
not put
space
it back
for
on.
yourself
I'm
to
like,
watch
wow, I didn't miss this at all. I was going to say real quick, before we wrap up the Star Wars talk, final
the
thoughts,
podcast.
last theory. Who is Rey? We all had different thoughts. We all shared thoughts yesterday on where did Rey come, or where did she come from? We each have different thoughts.
Thoughts?
Share your thoughts real quick. What was your thinking?
I said I would like it if she was not a Skywalker and she was a Kenobi. Or maybe a Windu even. I don't know.
Ooh, Windu.
Or a Yoda.
What do you mean, well?
Milkman.
Well, what?
Milkman.
Well, what?
Milkman.
I think, and we were when we were discussing it, we felt that that's not in Kenobi's character.
Jedi's aren't allowed to have sex.
What?
They ain't
They're
boning.
not. They're not.
Pleasure? A Jedi seeks not these things?
He doesn't mess up
not.
one time.
They're not.
Okay.
That's like a major point
Yeah.
of like Anakin turning to the dark side is because he was in love with Padme.
Yeah, you can't be doing that.
If you have a personal relationship, you're going to be thinking about that when you're supposed to be saved from the world.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Again, I didn't
that
say
kind of
I didn't really put much thought into it. I thought, I hope she's not a Skywalker. I hope she's a Kenobi.
Absolutely.
Something like that.
Absolutely. Derek had a theory that I think actually sounds pretty sound.
Yeah.
And
so
then
I'll save it.
Mine is wild card, but I'm sticking to it because I want people to clip this out and play it after the next two movies come out.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I'm going wild card out there. They want you to think, oh, it's Luke's daughter. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. She is fucking Palpatine's daughter. Palpatine and his men dumped her on some planet and left because they're assholes. She's got the British accent just like every bad guy in Star Wars.
All the Nazis
She's
have
strong with
British
the Force.
accents.
She's strong with the Force. And who pointed it out in the movie? It was all the bad guys. Snoke was like, did you feel that? And even he, Kylo Ren at the end was like, I can teach you how to control this. I can do this. It's all the bad guys that want her because she's got all this evil shit.
Let me tell you, Rocco, that I think that holds up to me. And I hope it's not Luke, because why would they leave him on that fucking planet? That's fucked up. With no one to watch her, not
Maybe
even
he
Uncle
don't
Ben
know.
and Aunt Beru.
Maybe he doesn't know he impregnated someone.
Well, I'm just saying that was a shitty thing to do. Whoever left her there, that sucks. So it makes more sense to me if it's a
That an
villain who
asshole did it.
That
Yeah,
makes more
exactly.
sense.
Yeah,
Derek's theory, though,
I got.
held some... Oh, no, what were you going to say?
Oh, I got one.
Yeah.
What?
She was conceived by the Metachlorians themselves.
Me and Eric talked about that yesterday.
Really?
Maybe that
I'm just making a dumb prequel joke.
she might be. No. Well, we did too. But
So my theory is that she's not related to anyone. She was the youngest Padawan that Luke had when he was training all these Jedi. Kylo Ren and the other Jedi that he killed are all like the first wave, like the new generation of Jedi.
Yeah.
But then Luke finds this girl. He doesn't know how she's conceived part of the Force, whatever, and he feels for her what Qui-Gon felt for Anakin. She's the one to bring balance to the Force. Kylo Ren doesn't like this. He's already been turned by Snoke. So Luke takes her, dumps her onto Jakku, send her away. We need to get her out of here.
To save her.
The way that Luke was sent away and everything.
yeah.
And then Kylo Ren goes to kill her and all the other Jedi, but she's already gone. And then Luke, seeing that he's been betrayed by his own Padawan and everything, the way that happened like with his father, he's distraught. He doesn't know what to do. No one can lead him because he shows kind of through the original movies, he's not the strongest leader, but he's a strong Jedi.
Right.
So he doesn't know where to go now because the only thing that he could do got blown up on him. So he runs away, and that girl is still out there. So that's my theory, and now she's coming back, and she's the one to bring balance to the Force.
Right,
That's it.
bam.
All right, here's my theory, and I want to say I don't think this is the coolest theory. I think Rocco's theory is the coolest theory.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I believe
I
my
win the cool
theory,
award.
my theory is the true theory, not the coolest, but the one that they're gonna do. Because my theory is based on lots of clues planted within this movie.
Yeah.
Y'all don't want to hear this. It's not cool. She is Kylo Ren's brother.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
I mean,
That's
absolutely.
When I watched the movie the first time, I was telling my girlfriend, like, I think that's Kylo Ren, like either a half sister, but definitely like either Han or Leia's other daughter. And
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
twins.
Wouldn't be Han if it was a half.
It's twins.
Well, yeah. I thought because of the twin theme in A New Hope with Luke and Leia and throughout the original trilogy,
kind of a recurring
have that
thing.
recurring twin theme.
Yeah.
I had the same thing, but everyone keeps convincing me away from it.
No, that's what they want. See, they spend half the movie setting up that she's related to Han and Leia, and then they spend the second half of the movie trying to throw you off the trail, making you think she's related to Luke.
When Leia sees her, for what I would understand is the first time in a long time.
Let me
they
give you all
that
my
long
reasons.
hug.
Yeah. Check this out.
Yeah.
That's the last of many clues.
Yeah.
But all right, so Rey can fly the Millennium Falcon like a fucking badass. She's strong with the Force, and she's in tune with following. Just for a second, assume that this theory is true. She's in tune with her father's ship. When she meets Han Solo, they literally say the same things about the ship to the point where they're finishing each other's sentences, like father and daughter. The last time Han Solo talks to her is before they go to that bar. And this is going to be full of spoilers if you haven't seen it. That ends up, you don't know it at the time, but they never have a one-on-one conversation again throughout the whole movie. And it's kind of awkward, but considering it's the last time they ever talk in the movie, and ever, knowing what happens to Han Solo, this is his only moment to do this. Story-wise, he invites her to join his crew.
Yeah.
And he never gives a reason.
He's
just
very
like,
open. He's warm-hearted to her.
and Han Solo is not known for trusting people.
He gets kind of bashful about it.
Yeah,
like,
and he just meets this random girl. What, he has a crush on her? No. He asks her to join his crew, and his only reason is Chewie kind of likes you.
Yeah.
Later on, when Kylo Ren is reading her mind, he says, you feel as if Han Solo is the father you never have. Trust me, he would have disappointed you.
He doesn't say he's not your father. All he says is he would have disappointed you.
And 'cause she
Rey,
would've known.
who is super strong with the Force, if she feels Han Solo is her father, why would she be wrong? When Vader told Luke, I am your father, he said, search your feelings and you'll know it to be true. So if you're a Jedi, you're pretty much told to rely on your feelings to get the truth out of people. And then again, story-wise, there's not really a reason for her to show up when Han Solo kicks the bucket. But she does.
That's what I thought, too.
Because
Yeah.
later
To
on,
witness it.
they'll pay off, that she witnessed her father die. And then, once she's rescued, Leia, who's never met this girl, supposedly, doesn't know who she is.
Long fucking look into her eyes.
Meets this girl,
Huge
random
hug.
girl out of nowhere, and gives her a long-ass awkward hug.
Yeah.
Because she knows that's her daughter. Here's my theory. I think that Rey is younger than Kylo, and he is not aware that she was ever born.
That's what I thought, too.
I think he went to go train with Luke Skywalker. Han and Leia had her. He betrayed Luke Skywalker and killed all the other students that he was with. So Han and Leia said, wow, we have this guy who's going to someday hunt down our daughter. Probably hunt down us and hunt down our daughter.
Yeah.
So they did what they did with Padme, with Leia and Luke. They
Sent
hid
them
her
off.
on some desert planet,
Yeah.
and she was never aware of her true lineage. The moment she touches Vader's lightsaber in that bar, the first thing she hears is Darth Vader's breath.
Yeah.
Because she's his granddaughter, because she's related to him through Leia.
Yeah.
And in regards to bringing balance to the Force, Vader, the prophecy said Vader would bring balance to the Force, but he doesn't. He goes dark side and heavily loads the dark side with power. His son Luke destroys Vader. That doesn't bring power to the Force. That skews the Force heavily to the light side. Luke's sister has twins who will bring power to the Force because Kylo Ren is dark side, Rey is light side. I think at the end of this movie, they're going to destroy the New Order and the Resistance, and power to balance to the universe will finally be brought by this brother and sister.
I like that a lot.
I mean, I think you're absolutely
Somebody-
right.
somebody-
It's just less fun.
Hasn't George Lucas said in the past that really the balance in the Force is the complete eradication of the dark side? That's just some sort of bastardization of
well,
the
that's
Force?
not balance.
Yeah, that's one-sided.
Yeah, if light side wins, that's not balance.
Well, that's the thing. It's like the balance is that it should exist in this like harmonious state that the light side represents.
You need to think of like a yin yang. That's how it should
yeah,
be.
yeah. I guess I took that comment as like the Force exists in this like harmonious, like it all works interchangeably. There's no like bastardization of it. These people uphold a code. There's this like morality around it that's the balance. And then the dark side is this bastardization that tips the balance because now there's this negativity in the
Here's what
Force.
I think what it comes down to. I think the dark side is all about... I think that dark side, light side, neither are good or bad or evil or whatever. It's that dark side is using that power to promote your own personal desire. Basically, you're number one and you forward your own agenda. So Vader wants power for himself. He wants his family to be protected. I think light side is thinking about the community, thinking about others before you. And that's why I don't think Luke Skywalker would ever have a relationship, would ever have a daughter. I think Luke Skywalker is a true Jedi and knows, like, if I have a personal relationship, that will cloud my judgment. Like,
because he did have that moment, and one of my favorite moments at the end of Return of the Jedi is he looks at himself and looks at his father and has that realization of
he's turning.
Oh
down.
my God, I went down that path,
you-
and he throws his lightsaber away.
no matter
Remember your failure at the cave.
no matter how good your intentions are, if you have a family, if you're a Jedi and somebody threatens to kill your family, you will act to protect them. And maybe not even at the interest of the community. You may act in a personal way, and that is what the Jedis avoid. So that's what I think it comes down to. Dark side is forwarding your personal agenda, and light side is forwarding the agenda of the whole, of everybody else before you.
The dark side is always about protecting their own stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
getting
lose
more.
I'm gonna lose her. I'm gonna lose my power. I'm gonna lose this. It's selfish. Exactly.
It's
what you said.
individuality.
Yeah. I was just going to say, regardless of any of this stuff or what's right, what's wrong, whatever, what I love, when Eric and I were talking about this, he said this, and it's totally true, that regardless of any criticisms or whatever of the movie, the good largely outweighed the bad on a lot of it, whatever, but regardless of anything, everyone here has been discussing this stuff.
Exactly.
Like, this, or your theory on this, or your theory on this, that it really, people always have emailed us since the podcast has started. If you remember, since Lost ended, People have emailed me ever since, around 2010. Just, I miss when you guys used to watch Lost and you'd talk these huge theories on what was going to happen or what you thought about this or what you thought about that, and we never had that together ever again. We never had a show that we were all watching.
Yeah.
And I love that now we have this thing that's kind of on that level where it's mystery. You know what I mean? It's stuff in the mystery box that regardless of anything else, we do have the ability to have these fun discussions about what this could be or what that meant or, things like that. And I do like that we do have that. Regardless of some of the more negative things, I do like that exists, in some form.
And that I think is really the hallmark of what makes Star Wars or any sci-fi so entertaining, is that you have that community around it, that you can just sit there and talk about a million different theories. You come up with new stuff that doesn't even make sense, or stuff like like what Derek was saying. It's like, oh well, I didn't even see it that way. Now I kind of want to watch the movie again and see if I can pick up on that stuff. And ultimately, you're wrong. But like most of the time, 99% of the time, what you're speculating is wrong. But man, it's so much fun to like get on the phone with somebody you haven't talked to forever. Hey, did you check out the new Star Wars movie? Yeah, would you? And then it's like a 2-hour conversation about this movie, and that's what I love. It's the world that they create that is making this so much fun for me. Like movie aside, whatever. It's so much fun to have something to talk with my friends with that level of excitement again.
But I will say there is a difference between my here's our theories on story stuff versus here's this epic fan theory on why Jar Jar was actually the Emperor. Like, shut the fuck. That I don't care about. No. We were mentioning Lost a second ago, though. I do want to talk about Lost for a minute. It's been the
is it 2012? What
no,
happened?
I just want to see
What's
Sean's
in the hatch?
I just want to see his reaction. I just want to see his reaction.
I checked out a long time ago.
Why did you check out?
Oh, it was just long. But the Jar Jar thing now, it's funny because that character is more annoying than ever, and it's because of people.
Yeah,
it's not
they're
the
doing
character
it.
anymore. It's
Exactly.
these fuckers who wants to talk about Jar Jar Binks. So fuck all.
Yeah,
of
the
you.
Jar Jar
If you ever
Binks
mention Jar
jokes.
Jar, fuck off and go away.
Who was it? Some film critic wrote online a long time ago, but it was, hey, all you people making jokes about Twilight, you're the only people talking about Twilight on the internet right now.
It's the same thing.
Like, it's the same exact thing.
It's the same thing. Yeah. So if you mention Jar Jar, then you're an asshole, and you're the problem. So just know that. There you go. I'm just tired of seeing it. So.
And if you don't like what Sean says, hey, feel free to contribute to the Patreon, and if we hit $9,000 a month,
then I'm out of here.
He's out. If you really hate him, I dare you to contribute to the Patreon. I dare you.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for watching.